Alright, so welcome back everyone to the Visvim Pioneer channel. So I decided to make this video on the windiest day, but I figured, I've already blocked this time in my schedule, so I might as well go through with it. So in this video, I kind of wanted to focus on my favorite Visvim pickups from 2024. There's going to be a few items that I've already shared with you guys on the channel, and then a few more pickups that I perhaps haven't had the time to showcase yet. The way that I like to purchase Visvim items is I like to make sure that I purchase things that I know I'm going to be getting a lot of use out of. I typically don't buy a large quantity of them. It's typically 10 or less items a year. And in this video, I'll be showing some of my favorites that I picked up. So starting off with probably my favorite pickup, hence me taking it off my feet as we speak, is the Visvim 2 boot. For those of you that already haven't checked out the in-depth video I made on the channel, I highly recommend you check it out. That one has a lot more detail that I probably won't be reviewing in this video, but just to give you guys a little bit of the bullet points here. So it's a full vegetable tanned cow leather. It's obviously been mud dyed. That's like one of the main components with wanting to purchase an ICT release. The leather has aged pretty gracefully for the most part. So it is an engineer boot style, and this is one of the more popular releases from Visvim in the last few years, especially because Hiroki's been seen wearing the 2 boot style a lot in the last few years, and so this is an item that's always pretty popular when it comes to Visvim releases. So some of the things that I kind of already mentioned in the other video that I did, but also want to highlight here, is the fact that because these have been mud dyed, the leather has kind of dried out a bit in certain spots. And as you can kind of see here on the toe box, it's starting to crack a little bit, as well as on the interior of the boot. So for the most part, I like the profile of the boot, right? It's pretty sleek looking, but one of the issues that I have is the day-night rubber outsole. While I was told that, this sole was selected because it's easy to resole and also because it's rather soft when compared to other options, it did wear out extremely fast. So I purchased these in March 2024, and while I did wear these for a huge chunk of the year, I think that some of the wear, as you can see here on the heel, it's practically like the heel block is practically gone at this point. So one of the reasons I haven't sent these in to get resold yet is because I literally find them so easy to just slip on as I'm walking out the door. And so at some point this year, I'll probably have to retire them and bench them for a bit and start wearing some of my other stuff. But you can definitely tell the amount of wear and tear that these have had. But overall, it's a great looking boot. It's one of those Visvim hype items. It lives up to its, it lives up to the lore. I personally really enjoyed wearing this boot throughout the year, and I'm looking forward to buying another pair of the 2 boot. So one of my pickups from the spring-summer 2024 trunk show was this Douglas shirt in this rayon material. I'm a really big fan of when Visvim does these shirts that kind of almost play into like these bowling and like souvenir type shirts, and I think it's something that Hiroki does that, when combined with these elevated materials and interesting designs, is extremely flattering to wear and easy to wear as well in the summer. So as I mentioned, the shirt is composed of a 100% rayon material. The chest is embroidered with this Peerless logo here. One of the details that a lot of people might not like, but I personally find it to be interesting, is the use of this Visvim dragon embroidery done on the back. I think that because the color is a little bit more muted, it's kind of tasteful, but I could understand why some people might not want to wear like this style of shirt. What it does remind me of though is when I would go to San Francisco, kind of like in Chinatown when I was a kid, and my mom and dad would buy me those like souvenir shirts. And so it kind of reminds me of like a memory I had when I was a kid. And overall, I think the design is pretty cool. As long as like the other items that you have on aren't so flashy and you're not like, kind of muting it down a bit with some of the colors that you're wearing, I think the shirt looks perfectly fine. But I could totally understand why someone would think this is too much. Talking a little bit more about some of the details, so I mentioned that the shirt is composed of 100% rayon. The shoulders, I think you can kind of tell that they've been damage processed. this shirt has also been dyed using natural dyes. And this is the purple colorway, and it might appear purple in the video, but in person it's really more of like a bluish gray, which I find to be extremely attractive. The buttons on the shirt are cowbone and they're kind of like this ivory color, so kind of pops out a little bit from the shirt, but I think it's a nice little detail to have. Moving on to the next item, this one I actually picked up as part of my trunk show order for fall winter 2024, and it's the Coach jacket in this mustard colorway. So I've seen a few third-party online retailers with the black version, but for those of you that don't know, this jacket was also released in this mustard colorway as well as in a green colorway, but because I already have that Coach jacket in green, I thought I'd stick with something that's a little bit different and not the typical color choice that I would choose. This mustard color is honestly a lot easier to wear than I thought it would be. It goes pretty well with a lot of blacks and a lot of browns, and so honestly it's been extremely versatile these past few months. While this isn't an FIL exclusive, it is a mainline release. I thought that some of the details and materials used here were like really worth checking out, and so I decided to pick this one up. One of the interesting components about this Coach jacket is that the outer shell is composed of a wool silk blend, so it's extremely soft to the touch, but it also keeps you extremely warm. Another detail that caught my attention was this use of what I first thought was moleskin, but actually it's a silk. While a lot of people don't like the branding that Visvim has been doing lately, I find that this little hit here is pretty tasteful, and it's, you know, kind of like this season's mantra, right? In an intuitive manner. So I thought that'd be a nice way to kind of like highlight and almost like encapsulate when I pick this item up. So it does have these metal snap buttons. They're extremely tactile and they provide a lot of feedback when you're buttoning up the jacket. My arm is getting extremely tired holding this thing up. It is pretty hefty. It's also filled. One of the things with this jacket, even though it is filled, it's filled with a polyester. You know, that might have been to keep costs a little bit down, but that's one of the areas in which I think this jacket could have potentially been improved. So another fascinating component for me is that the interior is composed of 100% wool. The lining on the sleeves though is 100% rayon, as well as in the pockets. And I've also been trying to figure out what the compartment here is for. I know that it can be like unbuckled and you can kind of feel around the jacket. I'm assuming it's to like add a liner or something, but if one of you guys might know a little bit better than I do, just make sure to leave that in the comments. One of the details that Visvim offered here was the ability to adjust the waistband at the bottom. So in case you wanted to create a tighter and more secure fit. It also kind of serves as like a windbreaker in a weird way. While it may not seem like it, it is a pretty thick jacket that's making my arm hurt, you know, holding it like this. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these details up close. So some of you have asked about this jacket in particular, and it's also the Coach jacket cut, similar to the other jacket that I showed in this video. This one was also an FIL exclusive, and it was one of the more hype items from Visvim when it released. I believe I either picked it up in 2022 or 2023. And honestly, it's an easy jacket to throw on a windy day like this. It kind of serves as like a windbreaker. You have a wool and linen lining that makes it extremely warm, and honestly really protects you from the elements. So if you guys want to see a full review on this one, I can do that as well. Just let me know in the comments. As I might have mentioned before, I tend not to purchase a crazy amount of items. I mean, there's a few reasons why. One is I really want to get as much wear as I possibly can out of each thing that I purchase. And for full transparency, I can't afford to buy a new item every other month. So I try to keep it, manageable and within reason. Keep in mind that for some of these items, I had put a deposit down for the previous year during the trunk shows, and some of the items that weren't necessarily FIL exclusives, I tried to buy at a third-party retailer. The thing with attending these trunk shows, right, and kind of prepping for the year, is that I like to take note of the stuff that's going to be available at other stores and try to look for a deal that way. Of course, this strategy doesn't necessarily always work because you don't know if one, other retailers are going to end up ordering the product, or two, if your size is even going to be available. But luckily for one of the items that I was looking for, like the Social Sculpture Crash shirt, was one of those items that I wanted at the trunk show, but I knew it was going to be available at third-party retailers, so I decided to hold off until that item released. When it did release, I was keeping my eyes on a size 5 at both Notre Shop, and I can't remember the other place that I was keeping an eye on it. But essentially, I would keep them in my cart until they dropped a little bit in price, or it was somewhere in the ballpark of where I wanted to purchase it. I think MSRP on that shirt is like $1,500 or something crazy like that. And to me, that just kind of felt a little bit too much. While the Crash shirts are super special in the way that they're distressed and they're worn in look, I think that paying that almost $1,000 markup versus just the standard sculpture shirt felt kind of overkill, to be honest with you. So I saw it go on sale finally at Notre Shop, and I missed out on the opportunity to buy the size 5 because somebody had picked it up before me. As of the latest seasons, these shirts do run a little bit larger, and so I was looking at the measurements on the Visvim website for a size 4, and I'm like, you know what, maybe I could squeeze into that size. So the Social Sculpture shirt that I ended up buying was from Slam Jam, and they had a size 4 on sale for like maybe a little bit more than 50% off. I want to say it was like $600 or something like that. And so without any hesitation, I bought it. I read through the measurements, made sure that it would fit. And rather than achieving that looser and oversized fit, it kind of is just like a regular fit shirt, which honestly, I don't mind. I think I have enough oversized products in my wardrobe. And so I don't know about you guys, but I kind of like buying things to fill in like the holes that I see in my closet. Probably in my top 5 favorite pickups for this year was the Social Sculpture Crash shirt. So I think every Visvim collector should at some point have one of these shirts in their collection. And it doesn't have to be the Crash iteration, it could just be the normal version as well. But personally, I really do think that everyone should own this silhouette. Some of the older releases might not work for everybody because they're a little bit more trim fitting, but as of late, these have definitely been oversized. And while I had to size down to a size 4 in order to like cop a steal on this one, I still think that it's a pretty flattering silhouette and would highly recommend that anyone that's interested in Visvim definitely at some point owns one of these shirts. Which is one of the reasons I know that a lot of people ask me, like, why I don't dive too deep on one particular boot model. It's because, as you guys might have already seen in my boot ranking video, I try to diversify the pairs that I buy. So rather than purchase something that I know I love, like I want another pair of 2 boots, for example, I want to experience other silhouettes and kind of look at different product offerings from the brand to truly get a grasp of the full product lineup, right? And see what works, what doesn't work, and experiment a little bit. And it's with that, obviously it's kind of hard to do it on a large scale. Like I can't just go out and buy every single little item that I want because these things, like, let's face it, they're really expensive. And so I try to be strategic when I'm buying. So completing my Visvim footwear pickups of 2024 is the Kozak boot in the sand colorway. You guys have seen this video, you know my thoughts on this if you follow the channel or if you follow the Instagram. It quickly became one of my favorite boots in my collection. I've worn these things so much. Even with the 30-day wear test complete, I've continued to wear these boots at least 2 to 3 times a week. As you guys might have seen on my story, I spilled matcha all over the toe box. after like some light brushing and a little bit of wiping down, honestly, it just kind of blends in with the texture that the leather has here. And so for those of you that are considering getting a pair of the Cossacks, I would highly recommend you do so. I haven't seen any releasing in 2025, so I'm not sure if Visvim's going to be taking a hiatus with this model, but I would highly recommend you guys pick these up. I've seen a few of them in the dark brown colorway that, you know, I kind of want to buy myself, but because I want to explore some different silhouettes, I think I'm just gonna save that money and maybe apply it to something else and just wear these to the ground. I mean, eventually this leather is gonna get extremely dark, and so I'm sure as I buy new jeans as well, this will get dyed a little bit here, but you know, these boots have held up extremely well. They're one of my favorite pickups from this year. And after that break-in, they're also one of my more comfortable pairs too. So this boot is composed of a vegetable tan horsehide, and it's an extremely handsome leather. As you can see on this pair, this is the other pair that I haven't shown as well. The leather did get a bit darker from the drinks that I've spilled on it, but you know, not a big deal. I think it personally blends in pretty well with the upper, and it just shows that these boots are meant to be worn and you can wear them out. You know, you could have accidents in your daily life and they'll be just fine. So, and as I might have already said, if I didn't pick up the 2 boot, this probably would have been my favorite footwear pickup of the year. So some of the other items that I'm going to be showing in this video include, you know, some of my favorite Pioneer shirts that I purchased. The backpack that I got as a Trunk Show exclusive, the UT rucksack. So another item that I picked up from my Trunk Show order in 2024, I want to say this one was for fall winter. It's the UT rucksack. So as I've shown you guys in that other video, I was also able to get the white one, and I already have the ICT UT satchel, and so I kind of feel like this brown colorway stands out a little bit more than the other backpack. While that colorway might have been the one that more people gravitated towards because it kind of reflects like the UT satchel and kind of keeps that continuity going, I think that this brown complements the natural color of the hide. And it's one of those backpacks that when I do wear it, I get a lot of compliments and a lot of questions on it. So this is definitely one of like the more special pickups that I got this year. So some of these items I'm going to be running through kind of quickly because these were pickups that I got throughout 2024 that I might have already reviewed on the channel. Again, I would highly recommend checking some of those videos out. They're going to provide a lot more detail than I am in this video. But nonetheless, let's continue to go through some of the pickups I have for 2024. So here we have the Hickory shirt from ICT. So this one I picked up in 2024. This was probably one of the more hyped releases I picked up this year. It is composed of 100% cotton, and as you can tell, it's been damage processed. So this shirt, you know, I don't have a lot of like striped shirts in my wardrobe, so I haven't really found the best way to wear it yet. I've seen some of the ways people wear it online. I tend to gravitate towards some of the other shirts I have here. Second to like maybe like the Douglas shirt, this is probably my least favorite pickup from this year. But I don't mean that in the bad way. Like, I love all these items, but just because an item is like kind of hyped up doesn't mean that it has to be your favorite pickup. And so I just want to highlight that here. But still, it's a really cool shirt, and I kind of get asked questions when I wear it. I think generally speaking, people can appreciate this shirt a little bit more. It's slightly different without being too like over the top. You know, I've always wanted to do one of these like vlog style videos, but I never thought that they were for me. But this actually feels kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Of course, we decided to do this on the windiest day. And, you know, all for the channel, all for you guys. So thank you very much for tuning in. Alex, get the boots. Get the boots. All right, cool, we're good. You know, I hope we got a money shot here, man. Cause this shit's in my teeth. And some of my favorite pickups weren't necessarily the more hyped releases of the year. Like that ICT stripe shirt that I got is pretty hyped, but I want to say one of my favorite releases was the ICT Pioneer shirt in black. So while this next item's product number is technically classified under 2023, it wasn't released here in the US until January, and it was actually my first pickup for the year. And that is the ICT Pioneer shirt in this black colorway. It might not look black anymore. I seriously, I wear this shirt probably twice a week. And the way that it's aged is extremely nice to me. I know that some people might not like it because the material's kind of piling up a bit, but I personally don't mind. I think it gives a lot of character here, and there's been no breaking points or damage points on this shirt yet. And so I think that's a testament to the materials that have been used here. But In one of my early videos, I didn't show myself putting these shirts on body, so I'll be making up that footage. But if you wanted to check out some of the more in-depth details, again, I'm going to refer to the video I already recorded. So second to probably just the two boot is this ICT Iris jacket. So when Janique first sent me the photos of this back in March, I instantly knew I needed to go buy it that day. I swear I was in the middle of work. I got a text at maybe like 10 in the morning, and she sent me pictures of this jacket, and I was just thinking, like, you know what, I'm gonna drive down there during lunch and I'm gonna pick it up. So as soon as I saw this, I made the drive to downtown LA to Visvim Exposition, and I picked it up like immediately. This jacket has so many details going for it. I love all the different uses of these like nylon panels, and there's different textures throughout the body of this jacket. It also released in a Thorson iteration, but I think that one personally kind of makes me look a little too much like a Michelin man. It's kind of too stuffed, and so I like the fact that this Iris jacket's a little bit more flattering on my body. While I haven't worn it, reversed yet, because I think that the interior is a little bit much, I think it's pretty cool to be able to wear this pattern on the outside of your jacket as well, if you choose to do so. And again, this is probably my favorite clothing pickup item from 2024, and it's one of those jackets that I don't get as much wear out of because it's been so hot this year in LA. Thank you all again for tuning into the channel. It's been a crazy year in 2024. As you guys know, it's my first time recording under, the Visvim Pioneer channel, and really just getting information to you guys and wanting to put out stuff where, it's kind of hard for me to find information on some of the Visvim items. And so any way that I can help the community kind of create a digital library for some of these things has been honestly really awe-inspiring in my collection journey. I think that for 2025, my plans are obviously to continue working on this channel, continue improving on the quality of the video, and while the audio might be absolute garbage in this version just because of the wind, I think that these are all growing pains that we'll go through together. This last year has been my favorite year as a collector. The comments and the feedback and the messages you guys leave, it's just really cool to chop it up with people that I didn't know just a few months ago. I really am looking forward to showcasing some of my pickups through 2025, and I'm really also hoping to do some kind of community-based collection videos where maybe we can go over some stuff together and kind of highlight some of the things that we're anticipating from the brand in the coming year. So my spring summer 2025 stuff is currently getting delivered. I'm probably gonna go pick up the Grainer jacket this week, and my Wabanaki boots I believe are coming in next month, so I'm really looking forward to doing the reviews and the wear tests on those. And in the fall, I also have this really cool G Quartz jacket that I'm really excited to show you guys. My understanding is that it's one of those new overseas exclusive models that'll only be available in North America, so that'll be really cool to show you guys. And then I also picked up this Jumbo Short Body Crash sweatshirt. I actually didn't have any Jumbo Crash crew necks up until this point. I have the hoodie from I want to say 2020 or 2021 in navy, but really it looks more like a purple. So I'm really excited to showcase that to you guys. With that said, there's usually drops that, happen kind of randomly, so I'm really looking forward to that stuff. The ICT and spot releases tend to be my favorite, so I like to be surprised and not check out the leaked photos and stuff like that as much as possible. Thank you all again for an incredible 2024. Until next time, peace. The social sculpture shirt, so the social, yeah, that's a fucking tongue twister.